Hi everybody, I am Inge Urbancic and I'm here today at the Rehan School in Karachi, Pakistan. This is the Rehan School Korangi Campus. And this school is catered towards children in this area, local children, local students. It offers a very progressive way of learning and a very different type of learning environment than the traditional school. So we are going to go ahead and take a look at the campus. So as we're walking into the Rehan School, one of the very first things that we see up here on the top is the founder of the school, Rehan Alawala. And then as we take a look at the first wall, actually there is a selfie of me, or a big poster of me here on the wall, which I was so surprised and honored to see. And I am here in spirit then welcoming you into the school. So let's go ahead and take a look. So as we go down through the main hallway, we see here we have the administrative buildings, administrative offices, we have the principal's office, we have the vice principal's office. Followed by a brand new IT lab, which is being developed at this point to bring kind of a very high-tech IT capacity into the school. So they're creating an LCD board to go into this IT lab, and it will be equipped with all of the best technology in order for the students to learn and to grow worldwide. So as we continue looking through here, we can see an area, which is actually a private area. It looks a little bit like a phone booth, but when you take a look in here, you can see that this is a private area for students to do podcasts. And when they go in and you come and you sit inside this room, you can see that it's actually quite spacious. There's a ceiling fan on top that keeps you very safe, very comfortable. And from here, you can go ahead and do your work. You can be offline, you can be online, you can be doing podcasts. So as we continue up through the Rehan School, we're taking a look. This school is 3 stories big, which is actually much, much bigger than I had anticipated. The school has only been around for 1 year, and as we look around on the different walls, we see so much progression. We see so much inspiration on the walls. Here we're talking about the SDG goals. We have the common goal for each of these students to learn. Each student can pick which one they're looking for and cater towards that area with those goals. SDG 4, of course, is where my passion is, which is quality education. So as we continue through the hallway on the tour, we can come into one of our first classrooms in here, and we want to remember that this is not a traditional school. So even though they have classrooms, desks, and whiteboards, chalkboards, and things like this, the way that it's set up and structured here is that the teachers here are actually considered facilitators. And so they're learning a lot of the skills along with the students. So as we go and we move along, you're going to see some of the different areas that the students and the facilitators are learning together. So let's take a look. So as we come into these classrooms, what I want to show you is that this is actually one of the ways that they do the learning here with the facilitators and the students is that they use these rooms to watch TED Talks. So the students and the facilitators are watching different TED Talks on different topics, and then they're discussing the TED Talks, discussing the ideas that they made here in these classrooms. And then after the discussion is finished, then the students have the opportunity to go out. First of all, they'll make a podcast or they'll do an interview about the TED Talk. They might post the TED Talk on their Facebook or on their YouTube channel, and they tag the presenter of the TED Talk so that perhaps they get connected with that presenter of the TED Talk, and it ends up expanding their network and their world. And if they continue to foster this development and make these different connections and learning through things like TED Talks, YouTube, things like this, and connecting along with the presenters and the experts in that area, essentially they have grown their network exponentially outside of this small classroom to be really known and have ideas and have a network outside in the greater world, in the area that they're interested in. So as we're walking around on the tour, we can see here as we come, and I want you to just show an outside of this space so that you can get an idea of the size of it, which, as I mentioned, is much larger than I had anticipated. I believe that right now we're on the second floor. As we look at, for example, here's the restroom. So we have here at the Rehan School, we have the idea of osoji, which means it is a Japanese practice that cultivates responsibility, discipline, and teamwork. And so within that, all of the students are required to take care of their own things. They're required to clean the classrooms, to clean the restrooms and things, to make sure that they have ownership and that they learn the responsibility of taking care of what they've used. So as we look here at this space, this is called the maker space. So when the children or the students are coming in here into the maker space, this is hands-on learning. So all the different tools that they need, if they're looking at 3D printers, if they're looking at different electronic components that they need that they might not have in their homes, they can come here into this area in the maker space, and they have everything available to them to work and develop. So here we are. Now we are in the startup room. So this is helping to develop entrepreneurs. So when the students are in here, they've been watching TED Talks, they get so many ideas about what to do in the world. This actually is a room and that's helping them to learn to start their business. So how do you start your business without money, right? What are the different steps to starting a business? You have an idea, you might have limited resources, but how are you doing it? And so this environment, when you're looking at this classroom is helping guide the students through the different processes of starting a business and creating entrepreneurs out of these students. Again, this is helping them to earn $500 a month, which is the basis and the foundation of this school. So here we go on one of my favorite rooms, and here I decided that if I am ever fortunate enough to be teaching a class here at the Rehan School, I would love to be in this room. This room is called the Change Makers Room. So when we come in here, we can see that the whole room is set up as a model of the UN. And so when you're in this room, literally you feel transported to a completely different place. You feel as though you're in this environment, that you have, a voice, you have the capacity to make a change in the world. You feel as though you are really, much, much greater than just a person in school, right? So even here, as we take a look here along the back wall, we can see here's the UN headquarters with all the different flags here. So it really gives the impression and the feeling that the students are really truly there. And this helps as well as the students continue to develop their skills. This helps them to become comfortable in this kind of an environment, to feel comfortable with different people, for example, looking at them. Different, as if they get up here and express their ideas, their opinions. It just really creates an environment that is very, very global, and again, shows the inclusiveness and of each of these students as students of the world, global citizens. So I love this room, absolutely. So now we're gonna move on. And as we're moving on, I do want to make note of some of these posters that are hidden, that are hung around the school. There are so many words of inspiration around this school. Here is a quotes from Mother Teresa. There's quotes from Socrates. There's quotes from so many famous minds and educators all around. So the students are completely enveloped by inspiration, words of inspiration, photos of inspiration, letting them know that they can be whatever they want to be. So it's very, very encouraging. So now we're going to walk into another amazing room, which is called the Future Navigators. And as we come into this room, we almost feel like we're in some kind of a Star Trek movie or something. So the lighting is different. You can see, again, the different feel, the atmosphere in this room. Everything is geared towards the future. Future learning, future ideas. It encourages exploration. It encourages imagination. Wondering. And again, the environment, having the students come into a room like this and they're immersed in this type of environment, it automatically sets their mind in a place where they're thinking in this way. So it helps create the reality even when it is not yet a reality. It's helping to mold what the future will look like, but in today's world, in their day here in the school. So this is called the Future Navigator Classroom. As we continue our tour, we just came up another flight of steps, and now here we are up on the 3rd floor. I just want you to take a look around here to see, and maybe you can even look down to get an idea of the size of this school. But as we're up here, we can see that these are what we're calling the podcast rooms. So this room is, first of all, this one is still under construction. This will become the Studio Crystal. So this is before. I'm going to show you a couple of the after rooms so you can see the potential of what these rooms are going to have. This is where the students are creating podcasts, where they're doing any kind of YouTube or online work. So this next room is the AI Business Identity Lab. So again, if we take a look in here, all of a sudden we are completely transported into a studio, into a podcast studio, where the students can come in and they actually can do live podcasts straight here from this room. They can have a guest in here. The podcast can be broadcast around the world on their Facebook pages, on social media, but the equipment and the tools are here, and all of the information that they need from the facilitators are here to help guide and to help them to create podcasts and become known in the world. So this is one of the rooms that we're looking at here. As we continue down, we'll see that the next room is called the Studio Diamond. And as we look at the Studio Diamond, we're going to see here that this space is actually made up of 3 kind of sub-studios. So let's say that I'm talking about, I want to do an interview on the environment. So I may be sitting in this area, and I have my green space along with my interviewee, and I conduct the interview here in this green space, right? Or perhaps I'm going to be talking about something that's more urban or more city or some kind of urban development. So I might be sitting over here, and all of a sudden I have a very urban feel to my podcast. Or, also maybe I'm talking about ideas, mental health, awareness, things along these lines, and I would be sitting over here. So within this one room, I have 3 different backdrops that can help me and help the students to deliver interviews. It gives them, multiple backdrops, so it's not like they're always broadcasting from the same place. And again, it's very, very progressive learning for a school, a very different way to learn. So let's go on to the next room. So here we are in this studio. This is another one that is currently under renovation, but this gives you an idea of the footprint and how these rooms started. so that you can get an idea of the transformation that has been made here at the Rehan School when they take a look and see the empty rooms and how they have developed and changed them into these masterpieces for their students to be able to do interviews, podcasts, and things, and be connected around the world. Now we will go to the auditorium. And as we are coming into the auditorium, we can see that we have this shared space available. And in this shared space, the students gather in the morning. Every day they do yoga practices in this space. They might also have different programs that they invite their families to these different, communal areas. This is basically the communal auditorium area. So the students do gather here every day to start their day. So this was just a look inside the Rehan School here in Korangi, and I just hope that you had a little bit of time to be able to see what an alternative school looks like, that education is evolving, that there are different ways of education depending on our culture, our traditions, depending also on what the students need, right? We can cater, obviously, to the needs of the students. And here again at the Rehan Alawala School, we're looking and seeing that the goal is for these low-income students to be able to generate income, $500 a day. So if there's any way that you would like to support the school, so thank you again so much for being here today. And if you are ever in Karachi, please do come visit the school. It's an amazing, amazing place to be. If these students reach out to you on Facebook or on social media, please do feel free to connect with them, take their interviews, because this is a part of their learning experience and helping them to become global citizens. I just also wanted to thank all of you so much for inviting me today, for having me here, all of the students, all of the administration and the facilitators. Everyone had me feel so welcome. And again, a big thank you to all of you for hosting me here today.